Prince Harry stepped into the High Court once again this week, wearing an outfit that quietly carried far more meaning than most noticed. The Duke of Sussex arrived for day 4 of the landmark privacy trial. Dressed in a charcoal grey single-breasted suit, pale blue shirt and navy tie. At first glance, the ensemble appeared classic and understated, perfectly appropriate for a formal legal setting in central London. Yet closer observers quickly spotted one striking detail that many mainstream reports overlooked entirely. Tucked discreetly beneath the knot of his navy silk tie was a small but unmistakable enamel poppy pin. The crimson flower, symbol of remembrance for fallen servicemen and women, was positioned exactly where a military veteran would wear it. Harry served 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan. First in 2007-2008 and again in 2012-2013 as an Apache helicopter pilot. He left the Army in 2015 with the rank of captain, and has remained deeply committed to veterans' causes ever since. The Invictus Games, which he founded, remain his flagship project. And every November he continues to honor remembrance traditions. Wearing the poppy inside the courtroom was not accidental. It was a deliberate and visible reminder of his military service. At a moment when his identity as a former soldier feels under scrutiny. The trial itself centers on allegations of unlawful information gathering by Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Daily Mail titles. Harry claims phone hacking, blagging, deception and private investigators were used systematically to obtain private details about his life. During his own testimony earlier this week, he spoke emotionally about the paranoia and fear the intrusions caused. He described how Meghan's life became an absolute misery, and how their children deserve freedom from constant surveillance. Against that backdrop, the poppy pin served as a silent counterpoint. It reminded everyone present, and the wider public watching, that the man in the witness box is also a decorated combat veteran. Courtroom fashion rarely attracts detailed attention. Yet Harry's choice of accessory carried unmistakable symbolism. The Royal British Legion distributes poppies every autumn, and wearing one during November is a near universal sign of respect. Harry placed it on the left lapel beneath his tie knot, precisely where serving and former military personnel traditionally wear it. The gesture was understated enough to avoid overt theatricality, yet clear enough for those who know military customs to recognize instantly. Several military commentators noted the detail immediately on social media. Prince Harry wearing his poppy correctly inside court today, one veteran wrote. A quiet reminder that he served and still honors those who served. Others saw it as a subtle rebuttal to critics, who have sometimes questioned his commitment to duty. The poppy pin appeared on every day of his testimony, and again today when he returned to support Elizabeth Hurley on the stand. Hurley herself became tearful while describing how her son Damien was followed to school and had his private life exposed during the 2000s. Harry sat in the public gallery listening intently, nodding slightly when she spoke about the lasting emotional toll. His presence alongside fellow claimants has been one of the trial's strongest images. It shows that the legal fight is collective, not solitary. The poppy remained visible throughout the afternoon session. A small red symbol against the gray of his suit jacket. Legal analysts say such personal touches can subtly influence perception. While judges decide purely on evidence, juries, if present, and the wider public often respond to human details. Harry's choice of attire has therefore done more than meet protocol. It has quietly reaffirmed his identity as a former soldier. At a moment when his character is under intense legal and public examination. The trial continues to generate global headlines every day. Every witness, every document, every exchanged glance is dissected. Yet amid the complex legal arguments and barristers' questions, one small enamel poppy quietly made its own statement. It reminded the courtroom, and the watching world, that the man giving evidence once served in combat zones. He flew Apache helicopters under fire in Afghanistan. He earned medals and the respect of his comrades. That service does not erase the current legal battle. But it adds another layer to the man sitting in court 76. Harry has spoken openly about how military life shaped him. In Spare, he described the structure, discipline, and camaraderie that gave him purpose during his 20s. He has said the army was one place where he felt truly valued for what he could do rather than who he was born to be. The poppy pin, worn correctly and deliberately, reconnects that chapter of his life with the present moment. It says without words, "I am more than the headlines suggest. I have served, I have risked, I have carried responsibility." Elizabeth Hurley, who testified earlier this week, spoke movingly about protecting her own son from media intrusion. Harry's presence during her evidence, and today's return, has been interpreted as a gesture of shared purpose and solidarity. The claimants stand together against what they describe as long-term unlawful information gathering by the publisher. Associated Newspapers continues to deny all wrongdoing. Their legal team maintains that information came from legitimate sources. They argue many claims are historic and fall outside limitation periods. The trial, now in its third full week, remains intensely watched. Daily updates from inside Court 76 dominate headlines worldwide. Harry's decision to wear the poppy throughout his time in court has not gone unnoticed by military charities and veterans groups. Several posted quiet messages of support on social media. "Thank you for remembering while you fight this battle," one read. The Royal British Legion has not commented officially, but the symbolism of the poppy inside a London courtroom has resonated with many who wear it every November. Harry's barrister David Sherburne has focused on the human impact of the alleged intrusions rather than purely legal technicalities. Passages from Spare have been read aloud in court to illustrate the psychological toll on Harry and Meghan. The memoir's words, when spoken under oath, carry additional weight and emotional resonance. Harry's poppy pin, worn every day of his attendance, quietly reinforces that he is a man who has already served. He served in uniform, and now he serves in court, fighting for privacy for his family and for others. The trial is expected to continue for several more weeks. Further witnesses, including remaining claimants, will testify. Each account builds the larger picture of alleged unlawful conduct. Harry's subtle choice of accessory has added another layer to a case already rich with personal and symbolic meaning. It reminds the court that the man giving evidence once carried far greater responsibilities under far greater pressure. The poppy is small but unmistakable. It sits exactly where a veteran would place it. And in that placement lies a silent, powerful statement. Prince Harry fights today in a courtroom rather than on a battlefield. Yet the same sense of duty that once took him to Afghanistan now brings him to the High Court day after day. There is no magic wand to fix the issues he raises. There is only persistence, evidence, and the slow work of justice. The poppy pin worn quietly beneath his tie knot reminds everyone, including Harry himself, of who he has been. And perhaps of who he still is. The trial continues. The poppy remains. And the story of Prince Harry keeps unfolding. One careful, deliberate day at a time.